Yo, what's up Chasm crew, it's Frost, and before I begin, I'd like to say thank you so much for 200 subscribers. It means a lot to me. That aside, let's get right into the guide. Let's start with rerolling first. Although this was probably more appropriate for my beginner guide, I felt if you were watching a beginner guide, you already had an account you were happy with, so I admitted it. But let's get it over with now. When you first open the game, you have 4 options. You can either sign in via Yostar, which is the email option, Twitter, Facebook, or a guest account. Initially, you would use a guest account because, hey, you don't know if your account is shit. You don't even know if you want to play this game. But this is limited to 1 guest account per device, so keep that in mind. If your guest account is lucky, you can link your email to it in the account tab, but the chance of that isn't high, so make a Yostar account with your email. If it fails, don't worry though, because there's a trick here. If you click Yostar and enter in an email, add a +X before the domain. So if I were to do frostdemigod@gmail.com, if I were to do frostdemigod +69@gmail.com, it will count as a new account, but it will be the exact same email. So that helps with rerolling. It's called salting as well. So it really helps because this way you only need 1 email and you can make as many accounts as you need to get the account you want. Now there's 2 types of rerolls you can do once you get this process started. The first is rerolling on the starter banner, because the starter banner, it gives you an option of I think 6 operators, and you're guaranteed a 6-star. And sometimes you will do a pull and you don't like the operator you got. So for example, I started the game because I wanted Hoshiguma extremely badly. But when I started the account, I got Silver Ash. And I'm like, bro, this is a dude. I want a waifu, bro. So I made a new account, reroll, got Siege. I'm like, okay, I can't be bothered to reroll again. I don't know how to. So let's stop here. Now, when you're doing this, you can either do 2 things. You can either get through the tutorial, and once you get through the tutorial, it'll throw you right into stage 01. If you hit the gear icon in the top left, you can actually forfeit the stage and get right into rolling the beginner banner. And after you do your 10 pull, if you don't like it, just leave, restart. But the second type of reroll is rerolling on another banner instead. So instead of escaping from 01, you do 01 and up to Training 1 or TR1, and then you will have at least 5 Arknights Prime, and you can convert those, and you will have enough for a 10 pull on any other banner. Now, I recommend doing this any other banner rerolling only during limited banners, because limited banners, you know, the operator comes like once every god knows how long. And it's like, yo, that's the best chance to reroll and best chance to get that operator if you are starting a new account. So Ling banner just ended, so this is a bit late, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, you can do the 10 pull. If you don't get it, then hit account management on the title screen and proceed to reroll. Next up, we have recruitment. I went over it quickly in my beginner's guide. However, I never specified any specific tag combos, so I'll list them out and recommended times as well. First up, we have Robot. This gets you one of the 4 robots in the game at 3 hours and 50 minutes. You cannot go any higher than that. Next up, we have Vanguard Healing. This helps you get Myrtle dupes and also farm distinctions, and you want as many Myrtle dupes as possible. This should be at 9 hours. Specialist, Fast Redeploy, or Shift. These 3 tags will guarantee you a 4-star minimum, although one of these tags gets you Thermax, which is a specialist tag. Next up, we have some special tags which gets you 5 stars. Senior Operator gets you any 5-star in the game that's available in Recruitment. Use the other tags to narrow down which 5-star you get. Next up, let's get into the special tags. Nuker gets you Firewatch. Crowd Control gets you Texas, Project Red, Mayor. Summon gets you Mayor. Defender, DPS gets you Liskarm and Vulcan. Defender Shift gets you Croissant. Defender Survival gets you Vulcan. Specialist DPS gets you Manticore or Cliffheart. Specialist Slow gets you Feeder. Specialist Survival gets you Manticore. Supporter Debuff gets you Praminix. Supporter DPS gets you Estina. Vanguard Support gets you Zima. AoE Debuff gets you Meteorite. Defense Shift gets you Croissant. Defense DPS gets you Liskarm, Vulcan, or Aesthesia. Defense Survival gets you Vulcan. DP Recovery Support gets you Zima. DPS Shift gets you Cliffheart. Shift Slow gets you Feeder. Now those are all special tag combos for 5 stars. Guaranteed. Next up we have Top Operator. This tag will glow gold when it shows up. Keep an eye out for that because it is a guaranteed 6-star. Use the other tags available to narrow down which 6-star you get. For example, if I do Top Operator Vanguard, I will get Siege. If you're on CN servers or like 6 months down the line, you will soon have Bagpipe. If I go over here, go into server, swap to Chinese. Now, as you can see, I have Bagpipe. Bagpipe will be added to Recruitment on Chinese servers. You can use expedited plans to finish Recruit instantly. These are obtainable once a day from daily missions or occasionally in the store. I'll go on that later. Now, let's enter the base. There's a lot of stuff I didn't go into in the beginner's guide, so I'll go over that now. First up is the base layout. Base layout is how much of each facility you have, the facilities being trading posts, power plants, and factories. Trading posts are used to get you Arundum or LMD at level 3. Factories are used to craft E2 chips for 6 stars specifically. It can craft you EXP mats, gold, to use in the trading post. Or you can get Originite shards, which lets you craft Arundum. It's very Sanity inefficient, so unless you're like extremely desperate, like I was during NTR banner, don't do it. But yeah, but you see, most people go for a 3-3-3, which is basically 3 of each. It's aesthetic, simple, and lets you get everything maxed out. However, it's very inefficient and hurtful long term. Also, if you don't have all 3 floors of the base yet, don't worry, you'll unlock more floors as you go on through the story, so don't worry about that. 252, that's the most effective. You probably heard of it, along with 243, stuff like that. 252 is 2 trading posts, 5 factories, and 2 power plants, as you can see on my base right now. And you want your base levels to look like this for morale management, since some people would be having issues with that. If you click overview right over here, you can manage your operators, quick place, quick replace. When an operator's morale gets to 0, you can place them in the dormitory, but of course, you have a limited amount of dorms, limited amount of space. So here's some budget setups or stuff for people who have a low count of units. For me, I'm just lazy, so I'm also using a budget setup. So power plants don't actually need units. They're perfectly fine without them. You see these purple things up here? These are drones. They're used to speed up crafting or speed up obtaining things in the trading post. You don't really need to use them. Like, I've only used them for crafting the chips, but you never really need to use them. So if you don't use the units in the power plant, you'll be perfectly fine because you'll be saving morale and you'll be saving dorm slots. The control center also doesn't need units. Only add units with a useful passive that changes like the stats of the base. So Amiya, for example, increases efficiency by 7% for trading posts globally. This is a good passive because it increases your production quantity. But if you get someone like Neural, who just decreases the amount of morale consumed, why the hell are you gonna do that? They don't do anything else. So it's useless, don't bother with it. And you'll be saving more dorm slots as well and having less units with low morale. Next up is assistance. You may have noticed that you can collect trust every few hours, as you can see right here, collecting trust. And base assistants get trust twice. Now, there's no real purpose aside from trust farming. If you don't know what trust is a stat that increases the unit's default stats the higher it is. Just a bonus. So it's like adds attack, adds defense, adds HP. It's not really needed, but hey, if you need that tiny little boost, it's there. Next up is sanity efficiency. Now, what I mean by sanity efficiency is using your sanity the best you can. Because you can use your sanity for lots of things. You can use it to replenish your drones. Don't you dare ever do that. Okay, it's the worst thing you could ever do, especially as a free-to-play. I showed you how to craft stuff in the previous guide, but farming-wise, this infographic that I'm showing on screen right here is the most efficient. You can pause the video, take a screenshot, or write this down because it's really helpful. You can also find it on the guide section on the top right of Game Press, which I've linked on the previous video. If there is an event going on, do those first, because event shops are generally the most efficient. If you've been playing recently and saw the last limited event, Invitation to Wine, the event shop gave you so many mats for 1 sanity each. It was the most efficient that I've seen so far. Now, you may not have noticed this from the beginner's guide, but when you enter the crafting interface, there's a chips tab right here, and it lets you convert 3 of one chip into 2 of another. The recipe is to let you convert from one of a specific stage's drops to another as diminishing returns. So if I go to the stage here, you can either get this chip or this chip, and basically I can convert 3 of this chip into 2 of that, and then vice versa. But keep in mind, since it's going from 3 to 2, you will lose out the more you convert. So keep that in mind. Next up are clues and credits. When you enter the reception room, you can get clues, and you have a limit of holding up to 10 and receiving 10 if I remember correctly. Collect all 7 and you can activate the exchange right here. When you click that, you will activate clue exchange. And you can trade dupes with friends to help each other out by clicking clue delivery right here. But once exchange is active, friends can visit your base for bonus credits, indicated by the symbol over here when you go to the friends list and actually see the visit button. With credits, you can go into the credit shop right over here, buy mats, and buy expedited plans, which lets you speed up recruitment. But after consuming enough credits, you can actually get certain operators for free, with the progress shown right by this button. There is also another benefit to adding friends, being support units. You get to use your friends' characters even if you don't own them. This is useful for challenge mode or helping you out in a tough spot. However, using one prevents auto-deploy, so keep that in mind. You can set your own support units here and choose which skills your friends get. You can set up to 2 6-stars and 1 5-star rarity-wise, or 3 units of lower rarity, so you could have 3 5-stars, 3 1-stars. But yeah, 2 6-stars is the maximum you can add here. There is a special scaling with these as well, based on your highest leveled unit. If you do not have an Elite 1 or Promotion 1, the support unit will be the highest level it can be for Elite 0, so no promotion. And the skill will be Skill 1 at Skill Rank 4. If you have an Elite 1, it'll be the highest level for that unit at E1, if it's like E2 or something. A Skill Rank 7 maximum, and skill can be Skill 2 if they selected it. If they selected Skill 3, you will be stuck with their Skill 1. There is no way to bypass that. After getting an Elite 2 unit, you can loan your friend's unit exactly how they have it. So with Skill 3, Mastery 3, you can also select support units from randoms. However, they will have nerfs, going up to Skill Mastery 2 highest. I remember I was watching a guide and I needed Blaze, and I tried to borrow a Blaze from a non-friend, and their Mastery was only level 2, but I needed Mastery 3 to complete the stage properly and simply, so yeah, keep that in mind. And to end off the guide on a fun note, you can dip if you want right now, because this is just how to adjust your profile icon and how to change up your medals. Anyways, I'll stop commentating over here and see you guys at the next guide. Peace.
秘書？ああ、人のそばにずっと突っ立ってるあれだべ。軍にいた頃は見たことあるな。え、机仕事もしなくちゃいけないの？戦況の把握も告知も？めんどくさーい。